All right, let's dive right into a pretty high-stakes situation. We're looking at India's government sectors and a crisis that's apparently unfolding behind closed doors. This is a world of private justice, we're talking big money, and according to our source, a really concerning pattern of losses for the public sector. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, let's not beat around the bush. Here's the core claim from our source, and it's a big one. They say government sectors are, and I'm quoting here, failing huge and heavily. Whoa. I mean, that's not just about losing a case or two, right? That phrase points to something much, much bigger, like a systemic problem. So what on earth is going on here? So before we get any deeper, we should probably make sure we're all on the same page. What is arbitration anyway? Well, think of it like a private courtroom. Instead of getting bogged down in the public court system, which can take forever, two sides in a dispute just agree to hire a neutral third party, an expert, to make a final, binding call. It's supposed to be faster, more efficient. At least, that's the idea. Okay, so with that in mind, let's get back to the main issue. Because what we're talking about here isn't just a few isolated losses or a bad day at the office. The source is really pointing to something systemic, a consistent pattern of failure. Yeah, this isn't just a string of bad luck. I mean, when you see a consistent pattern like this, it screams that there's a much deeper problem, right? It suggests a real fundamental weakness in how these government bodies are even handling arbitration in the first place. So let's start digging into the why. So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Why? If these crucial disputes are being lost over and over again, what's the actual root cause? Well, according to the source material, it really boils down to two main culprits. In the first one, well, it's a huge one in today's world. We're talking about a major tech deficit. So here's the fundamental mismatch. On one side, you've got legal teams kind of stuck in the past, using manual processes, pretty limited research tools, and just slow ways of communicating. But on the other side, modern arbitration is a digital battlefield. It's all about massive amounts of data, e-discovery, and needing instant analysis. It's really like bringing a knife to a gunfight. And you can imagine what this tech gap does in a real case. It's just brutal. Evidence takes forever to process, managing the case is a mess, and here's the really crucial part. You're at a massive disadvantage. I mean, think about it. Your opponent is probably using cutting-edge software that can sift through millions of documents to find that one little piece of data that blows the whole case wide open. But it's not just about the computers and the software. The source points to a second, equally important cause, the human burden. We need to talk about the incredible strain being put on the legal teams themselves. The term the source uses is overburdened legal team. And just think about what that means. It's constant, round-the-clock pressure. These people are juggling massive caseloads, dealing with incredibly high-stakes situations. And that kind of relentless demand, it's just bound to take a serious toll. And this overload, it creates a pretty clear path straight to failure. It's like a domino effect, right? It starts with a caseload that's just overwhelming. That naturally leads to not having enough time to prepare. And when you're rushed, what happens? The risk of making a critical mistake, missing a deadline, overlooking a key piece of evidence, it just goes through the roof. The end result? You guessed it, an unfavorable ruling. Okay, and this is where it all comes together, and it's absolutely crucial. These two huge problems, the tech deficit and the human burden, they don't just exist side by side. No, they actually feed on each other. They create this nasty, vicious cycle. So, on one side of this equation, you have a serious lack of the right tools for the job. And on the other side, you have a legal team that's just completely overworked, stretched to the absolute limit. And when you put those two things together, well, you get a system that's basically primed for failure. The lack of tech makes the overwhelming workload even harder, and the overworked team has no chance of compensating for the bad tools. It's a recipe for disaster. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this idea of a vicious cycle. The bad tech makes the human workload even worse, and because everyone is so overworked, there's no time or energy to even think about bringing in better technology, you see? It's just a constant feedback loop of failure. And that really leaves us with a final, pretty heavy question to think about. Because, this isn't just some abstract legal process. When a government's own system for resolving these huge disputes is fundamentally broken, what's the real cost? We're not just talking about money here. What's the cost in trust, in fairness, to the very citizens it's supposed to be serving?